Hello and welcome once again to Oxygen Not Included. This is going to be the second episode of my Let's Play or First Taste, just depending on how long I carry on with this game. But thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to unpause time so we can get through the night. There's not a great deal that I can do at the moment at night. Well, there's not a great deal you can ever do at night. You do have this button here which sort of forces everyone to ignore their needs and work, so at night you could push this if you were truly struggling with something, but I don't think it's really that worth it. Now I've been thinking about how I'm going to set up my base, and I think that on this side here somewhere I'm going to have my water reservoir, and I'm thinking on the other side just next to it will be sort of my oxygen generation room, and I will mostly be using the algae terrariums. They do require water, they do require algae, but you know, the other ways of producing oxygen can be a little bit counterproductive. The algae terrariums also absorb carbon dioxide. So it's a proper sort of plant mechanic, you know, it'll take the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, turn it into oxygen. And obviously if you put it lower down in your base, all the carbon dioxide goes there anyway, and then the oxygen tries to rise on its own. So it's not a bad system. There are other ways to produce oxygen later in the game, but they involve gas mechanics and things like that, which aren't the best at the moment. There you go. Dig out all this then, please. Oh. And our research is complete. So, as you can see, we've now unlocked these. I'm going to go straight for fine dining, which requires a supercomputer as well as just the research bench. So we will get that up and running. Now this is just a temporary setup just here. Eventually I am going to move these to somewhere else. There we go. But there you go. So we've got the compost now, which I'm going to put up here. Now you want the compost to be as close to the toilets as possible, because they'll turn sort of the contaminated soil from these into fertilizer. And we've also got the planters and the algae terrariums. Now I've got to work out where I'm actually going to be putting the planter boxes. I think somewhere around here might be good. So grab ladders and go all the way down here. May as well uncover it all. And the further we dig, the more of this area becomes uncovered as well, which will always be handy. Unpause yet again. I could have this as my planting area. Yeah, I may as well have this as the first planting area, so I'll dig all that out. And we'll also dig all these plants up. Oh. Okay, and set you up to fabricate that for eternity. Yep. Oh, of course they need bottled water now. In which case, as a high priority, dig away all that there. Then they should have access to this little bit of water there. Oh, that's going to be bad. Oh, no, you... Oh. Get your work done. There you go. That's better. I'd prefer them to be sleeping in their beds, to be honest. But they'll be able to get down here now and grab the little bit of water that's up here. Wow, that research has already got to 9. You're quite the little industrious researcher, aren't you? Now my oxygen is getting a little bit poor around here. But once I start digging this tunnel, the carbon dioxide will head downwards anyway, so won't be as much of a problem. And we've still got a decent-ish amount of food. Get rid of that. Okay. So I want these. Okay then, 5 that way. So that'd be 15 of those. I am going for complete overkill on the number of plants I'm having per person, because at least that way I know that I will have enough food. And the other thing I can do, if I dig out some of this, there we go. That'll work. They'll now have access to this food as well. And this water. It's not ready to harvest yet. Oh, you've already finished on that research, have you? Oh yeah, already finished with the green, so we're just waiting on the blue science now. Now the reason I've gone for this particular research is for the one item, which is the refrigerator. It's very important to get that as early as you can, because your food does rot, even inside the ration box. So although we've got a decent amount of food, it might not last long. So need to deal with that by getting a fridge. And we will have a look at the new duplicates available. Gastrophobic, so you can't cook. But you're a quick learner, which is awesome. Digging, medicine. Flatulence, yeah, no. Flatulence is a particular trait that adds contaminated oxygen into the air, which I really would prefer not to have at this point, as I don't have any way of dealing with the contaminated air. And biohazard, nothing can stop this duplicate getting sick. Of all of you, you are the best. You're a vomiter and you have 0 decor expectations, which is pretty good. Yeah, you know what? We're printing you. Which means we need to set up this room as his bedroom. So he needs a cot. And I will set that as a 7 just so they get it done. Oh, someone's now better at digging. Gus. Awesome. There we go. Finish the bed. Cecile. There we go. When it gets to night time, they'll just automatically assign, but, you know, may as well as I've seen it. So they're getting on quite well. That's going to be a problem when that ore disappears. That water's going to flood down here. Need to sort that out by digging that plant up and then putting a block there. Sandstone, dirt, mealworm seed. Sweep that as a high priority. There we go. I'd much prefer the mealworm seed not to be buried under the concrete or the tile. plant it. Oh, and we've finished the research. Brilliant. Now, I'm not going to set another research for the moment. I'm just going to let them build all the things I've asked them to. But we now have a refrigerator. So I'm going to build a couple of those and a couple of wires. Probably going to need another battery as well to manage all this lot. And I'm going to set all of these as mealworm seeds. Or mealwood seeds, sorry. Now, you find the seeds just by digging around normally. You also find them when you harvest the plants themselves, or when you dig up the plants. So, and the atmospheric pressure is too low in the room, so they're not going to grow very well. Okay, so deconstruct those. And reconstruct them there. And I am going to want that just there. There we go. So that's going to add oxygen into this area so that my plants stop sort of dying before they grow. Now I'm going to turn these up to a 9. Which basically means if there's food around, they will store it there as a priority. And then we can deconstruct that, because it's no longer needed. And stick a tile there, just so the water doesn't go down once these break apart. All in all, I think we're doing pretty well. If that could be done as a bit of a priority, please, because I have no idea when that oxalite is going to break apart. No, 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 no. Just get that done. Thank you. Now you can go to bed. Oh, Cecile's going to have quite a rough time in his bedroom for the moment because it's basically just full of CO2. Whoops. I do feel bad for him. Okay. So that's now pumping breathable oxygen into this area. And it's going to push all the CO2 that way as well. As you can see, it's very quickly changing colour. Now this does use algae as well. But I don't believe it uses water. But the other thing is it will become idle if there's maximum air pressure. So basically when all of this area gets the max pressure, whether it's through carbon dioxide, whether it's through oxygen or any other gas, that will stop working. So yeah, that's brilliant. But then you could basically fill your entire base up with carbon dioxide and this stops and you suffocate. Not so great. Okay. Now I'm basically drawing out my rooms, even though I'm not going to set the dig, so they won't actually build most of this yet. Yeah, I think it can go all the way to the top. So that room just there is going to be my reservoir. Oh. Is that wide enough? So in this sort of section here, I'm going to have, you know, toilets up the top. I'm going to have, well, power generation down the bottom. Yeah, that should work okay. Your contaminated oxygen. And then on this side, might need to actually bring it in by one because of that contaminated oxygen. So on this side I'm going to have oxygen generation. So some of this I am actually going to dig out now. Ah, no, 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 no. The water's leaking in. Priority 9, get that done. Well, at least no water. Water can... Oh no, it's still... At least it's not rising anymore. Damn it. I really would have preferred that not to have broken. So yeah, some of the blocks aren't watertight. They can eventually break down with the water pressure. So just be careful of that. When you're digging close to water or even building close, because your tiles aren't immune to it. They can break eventually sometimes. So just be careful of that. Right, research. I think I want liquid piping. That way I can start dealing with these puddles of water and put them where I want them rather than wherever they want to be themselves. I'm also going to start priority 6, a small area here where I'm going to put the first algae terrariums. I know it's underwater, but you know, that's fine. Your duplicants are smart enough to sort of run upstairs when they can't breathe, so. And all of these are growing perfectly fine. The other thing I want to do is set these to a very high priority. Yep, there we go. So whenever they're fully grown and I tell them to be harvested, they'll be harvested as a priority 8. Now my stress level is getting quite high on certain people. So let's have a massage table just here. That doesn't look too healthy. There we go. Someone will come along and build some of that at least soon. Of course, they're all focused down here at the moment. The other thing this is doing is letting all the CO2 that's built up here head downwards. Which is a good thing, because it might clear out some of this bedroom then. And set you as a priority 7, because they always need power. Let's have a look at the new duplicants we can get. Yokel, so you're no good at research, and Loud Sleeper. Now, Loud Sleeper, it puts an area of effect around it, and if any other duplicants are sleeping within that area of effect, they get a negative debuff. Which is fine if we're doing like we are at the moment, we're giving everyone separate bedrooms. That Loud Sleeper perk won't sort of affect anyone. He's also a night owl, so he does their best work when they ought to be sleeping. And I think, as far as I'm aware, the only way to make him do work while he should be sleeping is by using that command up here. He's got good creativity though. Yokel, naturally robust. So he is harder to be sick. Won't be sick as often. Tinkering and construction aren't bad. To be honest, none of them really sort of grab me as brilliant. So, yeah, just... We're good with 4 people. We're good as we are. So once that's been built, there we go, we can set Cecile to it, and he will go and have a massage. We're also going to set that as a priority 9, so if I set a duplicant there, that is where they will go. So as he's on that table, he will slowly lose some stress. And the higher the art and things like that in the area, the quicker his stress will go down. Now, the printing pod actually has quite a high art rating, as you can see. It's a plus 30, so it really does help him go down a little bit faster. He'll even stay there when everyone else goes to bed, which is also good because his room's still full of carbon dioxide. Okay, well that room's almost done. Need to dig out those still. I'm just putting 5 there for the moment. Eventually I will fill that room completely with them. I might even have more layers of them going up, but don't need that many to begin with. So the batteries are slowly charging, and Gus is now tinkering level 2. Okay, I think I need to swap you out for Archibald. So whichever duplicant is on there, they will stay on there until their stress is at 0, or until you swap them out for someone else, or obviously just cancel them. Oh, he must have got to 0. Oh no, he needed food. There you go. So there's 1 or 2 things they will jump off that for. Food being one of them. Oh, and as you can see, we're now getting contaminated oxygen into the base. Now, I would definitely like to limit that as much as possible. And harvest that. A little bit of food never hurt. And the other one. Poor Gus. And we're almost done on the liquid. But that will let me do some more things with plumbing, so it'll let me pipe fluids around a little, which will help me set up this room, basically. Oh, and there we go, research complete. Now, until they've got all of this building work done, I'm not even going to look at doing any other research for now. Oh, bedtime. And he's still having a lot of problems in his bedroom breathing. All the gas has gone straight down. But still need to do something about it. Now, all this water here is a problem. It will basically say these are flooded normally. Although, this one seems to be okay. Put that as a 7. Oh, yep, there we go. That's started to produce oxygen. Brilliant. Set you as a 7. Now I'm setting these as 7s because I really do want them to be running whenever they can be. Come on. Get it built. There we go. Boom. So now all of these will produce oxygen, which will slowly eat up my CO2, and it will also, obviously, fill these rooms up a bit with oxygen, which isn't a bad thing at all. And the water level in here is going to be dropping because they're going to be using some of that water to build these. It's also falling down these holes as a build, but can't really do much about that, unfortunately. There are so many ways to lose oxygen, or lose water, because of the way it works, which is unfortunate because it is very useful and it is hard to get sometimes. Oh, far too many of those. I think 3 will be enough. There we go. So what I'm doing here, I'm setting up this as sort of the input for my reservoir of water. So these are liquid vents, so any water that's pumped into them will then drip down to fill this room, basically. I also want that put in place. Yeah, about there. So this same sort of thing, this is what actually pumps the water out. So this will sort of feed toilets and things like that, and then the clean water will get pumped in via that. Oh, and Archibald's athletics are better. Oh, a little spin there. But yeah, my oxygen is getting a little better. Which is always good. And let's have a quick look at my... I don't have a great deal of algae. I've got 3,000, but it's amazing how quickly it disappears. Right. Deconstruct that. Oh. There we go. So I'm just setting all this work up for them. So I want to get the start of this built, so that I can start pumping these pools of water in here, and then they're out of the way, so I can build more on this side. We do have quite a large amount of contaminated water nearby as well. So once I've managed to get on the research tree this here, the water purifier, I'll be able to turn all that contaminated water into normal water with some sand as well, which I believe we've got quite a lot of at this point. Oh, that's sandstone. Where will you be? Ah, filter. So yeah, we have got a great deal of sand, so no need to worry there for a while. Oh, and there's some more. And some more. And we've only got a little bit of food left, so let us harvest all these, please. Now, each of these plants provide 1,500 calories every time you harvest them, which is a decent amount. Oh, and next duplicate. So, what do we have? You are incapable of digging, so yeah, you're out. Diver's Lungs, which is an exceptionally good ability. Narcoleptic, which isn't, you know, it's not catastrophic. Construction Tinkering. You're not too bad, Stacy. Yeah, I think we're going to be having you. Which of course means we're going to need another bedroom. For the time being, you can share a bedroom. But I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. I've just looked down and seen the time. So thank you very much for joining me. Please join me again for the next episode, and we will continue to expand the base. See you later.